Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Vanamali Govinda Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat. Prabhuji, we will get started. By the time I think devotees will join. I
Okay.
just we'll or maybe we'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes more and then get started, Prabhuji. Is it okay?
Okay.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Welcome all for the Nityan Bhagavata session. Today we'll hear the nectar from His Grace Vanamali Govinda Prabhuji from Canto 5, Chapter 12, text number 11. Vanamali Govinda Prabhuji, over to you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
My voice is clear, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, audible.
Okay. Hare Krishna. So we'll start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatiruttamaśloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So we are discussing from the 5th canto, 12th chapter, discussion between Rahuguna and Jad Bharat. Shloka number 11th. Jnanam Vishuddham Paramarthamekam Anantaram Tva Abhabhir Brahma Satyam Pratyak Prashantam Bhagavat Shabda Samyam Yadvasudevam Kavayo Vadanti. Word to word translation. Jnanam, the supreme knowledge, Vishuddham, without contamination, Paramam Artham, giving the ultimate goal of life, Ekam, unified, Anantaram, without interior, unbroken, two also, Abhabhi, without exterior, Brahma, the supreme Satyam, absolute truth, Pratyak, inner, Prashantam, the calm and peaceful Supreme Lord worshipped by the yogis, Bhagavat Shabda Samyam, known in the higher sense as Bhagavan, or full of all opulences, Yat, that Vasudevam, Lord Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, Kavayaha, the learned scholars, Vadanti, say. What then is the ultimate truth? The answer is that non-dual knowledge is the ultimate truth. It is devoid of the contamination of material qualities. It gives us liberation. It is the one without a second, all pervading and beyond imagination. The first realization of that knowledge is Brahman, then Paramatma, the super soul, is realized by the yogis who try to see him without grievance. This is the second stage of realization. Finally, full realization of the same supreme knowledge is realized in the Supreme Person. All learned scholars describe the Supreme Person as Vasudeva, the cause of Brahman, Paramatma, and others. Purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said, Yad Advaitam Brahmopanishadi Tadapya Asya Tanubha. The impersonal Brahman effulgence of the Absolute Truth consists of the bodily rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ya Atma Taryami Purusha iti so Shyamsha Vibhavaha. What is known as Atma and Antaryami, the Super Soul, is but an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shadaishwaryaha Purana Ya Iha Bhagavan Saswayam Ayam. What is described as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, complete with all six opulences, is Vasudeva, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different from him. Great learned scholars and philosophers accept this after many, many births. Vasudevaha Sarvam iti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabhaha. The wise man can understand that ultimately Vasudeva, Krishna, is the cause of Brahman and Paramatma, the Super Soul. Thus Vasudeva is Sarva Karana Karanam, the cause of all causes. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. The real Tattva, absolute truth, is Bhagavan. But due to incomplete realization of the absolute truth, people sometimes describe the same Vishnu as impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yad jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdyate. From the very beginning, Srimad Bhagavatam says, Satyam Param Dhimahi. We meditate on the Supreme Truth. The Supreme Truth is explained here as Jnanam Vishuddham Satyam. The Absolute Truth is devoid of material contamination and is transcendental to the material qualities. It gives all spiritual success and liberation from this material world. That Supreme Absolute Truth is Krishna, Vasudeva. There is no difference between Krishna's inner self and outward body. Krishna is Purna, the complete whole. There is no distinction between his body and soul as there is between ours. Sometimes so-called scholars, not knowing the constitutional position of Krishna, misled people by saying that the Krishna within is different from the Krishna without. When Krishna says, Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskaru, so-called scholars advise the reader that it is not the person Krishna to whom we must surrender, but the Krishna within. So-called scholars, Mayavadis, cannot understand Krishna with their poor fund of knowledge. One should therefore approach an authorized person to understand Krishna. The spiritual master has actually seen Krishna, therefore he can explain properly. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Without approaching an authorized person, one cannot understand Krishna. Just give me 1 second, I'll write down few things and we'll start with prayers. Getting carried away. ओके। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So I seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas, my spiritual teachers from whomever I have learned the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam, and would like to share for my own purification, for the pleasure of their lordships and all the assembled devotees in parampara. And also I warmly welcome and gratefully thank all the devotees assembled, taking out their valuable time for morning Srimad Bhagavatam discussion, including Shri Balaji Prabhu, Dayamay Baldev Prabhu, Radharani Mataji, Sachitanay Gaur Prabhu, Saraswati Mataji, Shweta Mataji, Sudarshan Varjesh Prabhu, Sugunamayi Mataji, Uttara Mataji, Radha Bhavini Mataji. Hare Krishna. RG, I don't know who is RG. So welcome and thankful for taking out your valuable time in the morning hours. So today, as we saw in the verse, the background is that Jadbharata has tried to defend himself when Rahuguna was trying to chastise him for not carrying the palanquin nicely. And in the generally Jadbharata doesn't defend, he acts very inertly without a reaction. But when Rahuguna chastised and spoke very harshly, then he thought of clarifying for his own good of Rahuguna. And then he told him about the difference between body and soul, that how he is telling fat and all, but weak, he has become weak actually, but he as a soul, surely he is not weak. So he is telling the difference between body and soul and the temporary nature of this servant and master relationship. But Rahuguna somehow does not understand this very clearly, or he has still some doubts. However, he has become little humble and understood that this personality is a little elevated one. And so he becomes humble and asks further to clarify his doubt, and to which Jadbharata again clarifies and elaborates on the nature of mind, that how mind is the one which is binding the body, conditioned mind, and making us identify with the body in spite of we being a soul. And here in that discussion he is elaborating that the material world is nothing but this conglomeration of atoms. Different combinations give rise to illusion, and finally comes to this verse telling that what then is the truth, what then is actually absolute truth, if everything is illusion in this material world and temporary nature. So then he tells about the non-dual nature of the knowledge, the transcendental knowledge, which ultimately culminates into absolute truth. So then Prabhupada focuses on two aspects in the purport. First is that what is the absolute truth, how it is explained in 3 features, and Bhagwan being the ultimate, not Brahman and Paramatma. They are truth, but they are incomplete. So one needs to understand that what is actually the knowledge, and that knowledge will actually help us to liberate. So we start with Bhagavad Gita, and then Bhagavatam is a practical understanding, and then further Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we will discuss also on how this knowledge of the Lord's absolute nature can be also realized and applied in our understanding as a sadhaka. And the second part, Prabhupada tells, this cannot be understood unless one approaches a bona fide spiritual master. So the need of approaching a bona fide authority, the way to approach a proper person, we'll discuss that how we can also submissively approach and try to imbibe the transcendental knowledge, and what can be the wrong ways, or how nicely and effectively we can practice whatever I have heard. I will just try to share and discuss, and we'll surely take some discussion at the end also. So in the absolute truth is in the 3 features. So before we know that from first canto 3rd chapter of Bhagavatam, we study that how Krishna expands into Balram, and Balram further expands into the quadruple expansion, Vasudeva, Aniruddha, Pradyumna and Sankarshana. And from that Sankarshana comes Narayana, and further it is expanded into Sankarshan, again another quadruple expansion. And from that second Sankarshana comes the the Mahavishnu, and from Mahavishnu further Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. So in the first Vasudeva, it is said also that just recently I read that the Brahma Jyoti expands from him, the Vasudeva, and here Prabhupada elaborately tells Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. So first let us discuss that how the Lord, his name, his form are non-dual. As Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, that body of Krishna and the soul of Krishna are non-different. There is no difference between the two. So as many misinterpreters tell that it is not the Krishna who is there in the Bhagavad Gita or in the Mahabharata, but the person within Krishna. That means they are differentiating. However, it is very basic understanding of our Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, and that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not different from Krishna, and Krishna's forms, name, pastimes, they are not different from him. The name, Abhinnatva Nama Namino. So to glorify the Lord is as good as associating with the Lord personally. Prabhupada repeatedly tells that if we hear from a bona fide authority, it is as good as associating with Krishna, how Arjuna heard from Krishna. So even Ananta Shesha, he is glorifying Krishna with his thousands of Ananta Shesha, with many unlimited heads. He is not able to complete the glorification. And it is said in one of the purports that Krishna himself doesn't know what are his glories. It is unlimited, and that is why the perfect understanding Prabhupada tells about Krishna is that we cannot understand Krishna. Only sevon mukhe hi jivado swayam eva suratyada. By service attitude, by serving, especially starting with the tongue, chanting the holy names, honoring prasadam, submissive service attitude. Swayam eva suratyada. He will be revealed by himself. The scriptures are also revealed. The knowledge, the scriptural transcendental knowledge, they are called as revealed scriptures. To the degree we have service attitude, to that degree it will be revealed. And yesterday also in our some of you who might have attended the Bhagavatam, there was a discussion that why sometimes we feel not interested, or the scriptural knowledge may appear repetitive, or we lose the interest, and the transcendental knowledge which is so rare, Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha, we have come into Krishna consciousness, but still we may find a little boredom, after some time, or repetitive knowledge. That is because of the offenses and sins and not putting proper endeavor, is what the answer we had got from His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu. So it's the offenses which does not make us understand the difference, or makes us feel that the name is different and Lord Himself is different, and that's why the chanting becomes mechanical. If we have this proper understanding and realization that the Lord and His names are non-different, then we will take it much more seriously, and we will take the devotees also more seriously, who are themselves very rare. Although they may have faults, but we will overlook the faults and focus that how rare is this personality, how rare is this particular devotee, and we will regard ourselves from making any faulty judgment. Otherwise, we'll see if we don't safeguard ourselves, then the knowledge is there, the devotees are there, the process is there by Srila Prabhupada, but it will appear as a very, very heavy thing to carry and forget about application. One example I had heard was Tipu Sultan's sword. It is almost 17 kg. One of the sites I had seen. So this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita given by Krishna is like this sword which is very heavy. Although it is very powerful, but it is difficult to lift by any ordinary person. So although the knowledge is there, but to lift it we need bala, and that bala comes from Balarama by the mercy of Guru. So we need to access that by not committing offenses, especially the third offense, to disobey the instructions of the spiritual master. Now that is not limited to our Diksha Guru only. That is expanded, as I had heard, to even our authorities, our whoever is our Shiksha Guru, our counselor, or our Bhakti Vriksha leader, whomever we are taking guidance from. So their instructions, if we disobey, we may not be able to immediately apply, but we take it seriously, then it is fine. Otherwise, it is very difficult. And in the first canto, 5th chapter, around 5th shloka or so, Prabhupada mentions the DOS formula. What is this DOS formula? Discipline, obedience, and self-control. Unless one is not disciplined in his life, he is regulated in his eating, sleeping, recreation, yuktahara viharasya, that shloka. So discipline, obedience to Guru and seniors, and self-control. So DOS formula. Unless one is not disciplined, obedience, and sense-controlled, one cannot follow the instructions of the spiritual master. We may say, oh, I will just follow the spiritual master instruction and I will go back home, back to Godhead. That I know the formula now, I have to just follow. But that may not happen. And as Prabhupada is telling, unless one is following these three aspects. And unless one does not follow the instructions of Guru, he will not go back home, back to Godhead. So this bala is required, and this knowledge is required, non-dual transcendental knowledge. However, to apply that, also we need bala. Also, many times our sadhana, we think, okay, our morning Bhagavatam is hearing is done, japa is done, and our some book reading is done. My daily 30 minutes quota or 1 hour quota is completed. But that is only 25% of our sadhana. The next 25% is contemplating about it. What did I hear? What is there for me? Where I need to improve? And contemplation can be done if you have attentively heard. Prabhupada again tells, we will not be able to attentively hear the Bhagavatam class unless our actions are pure. That means our eating, sleeping, our regulated lifestyle. So we will not be able to attentively hear. If we don't attentively hear, then we will not be able to remember and contemplate. So that completes 50% of sadhana, contemplation. And then 25% more is sharing with others. So as a sadhaka, when we give class also, it is like more of sadhana. Am I doing what am I sharing? We have to also cross check. And I heard that Bhagavatam should not be only discussion during the Bhagavatam class, of the Vyasasana, of the Bhagavatam class also. The topic of discussion should be Krishna Katha, and then finally application can happen. So 75% is sharing, and 100% completion of sadhana will be when we start applying it. And what is the fruit? Is realization. So this completes our understanding of sadhana, and then we get the proper fruit, and the knowledge will be appropriately realized. Otherwise the scriptures will not reveal us. So the presence of guru, trying to understand and apply his instructions by following the DOS formula, will eventually lead us to follow and digest the knowledge, and not offending the devotees by having a proper understanding that they are very rare. The one who understands Vasudeva is supreme, they are very, very rare. So the moment, sometimes one question was asked by one devotee to a senior sannyasi, Maharaj, I feel that sometimes outside people are more polite, more clean than the devotees also. Then what do you say about that? Then the senior sannyasi was telling that what to speak of you, even I feel the same. But then he told that this is just the outer covering which we are seeing. Cleanliness or humble. Even a waiter is humble. Even an air hostess on the flight is very humble. Good morning, sir. Good morning, madam. But she is giving a smile to cut our pocket and take the money. So that is not the humility we want. Humility born of proper knowledge that Krishna is the supreme, I am an insignificant servant. And the humility born out of that knowledge, which is the core of a devotee. That is why devotees are very rare. Although outside covering may be still not gone, but inside they have accepted Krishna, Vasudeva as the supreme, and that makes them very rare. And when our understanding develops like that, we will slowly, Krishna's mercy, we will start understanding the name and the Lord are non-different, and the ruchi, the taste will start coming in our chanting, in our hearing of Bhagavatam, etc. So that was about, and yeah, we need to read and prepare before chanting. Personally, for me, hearing or reading about the glories of chanting from different books of Maharajis about chanting is very, very helpful to improve my japa. Otherwise it becomes a mechanical endeavor. Some small 5 minutes, half a page, 1 page, or some small japa talk kind of thing we can try to hear. We can serve those who have taste. Then we will understand that wow, that how he has a genuine taste, and by just serving him humbly we will also get the taste in our chanting. And the faith in the holy name, the name is not different from Krishna, can be achieved, should be focused upon. So generally the faith is not seen as an external object. What is seen externally is our post, our position, our projects, our number of followers. These are very much seen, and even in the devotee community a person can get carried away with these assets, that so and so person is now so much advanced. But what about the faith? Internally the faith is not seen. So only Guru Krishna and we ourselves can estimate what kind of faith we have about the non-dual aspect of the name and the Lord himself. So one should consciously work upon this commodity of faith. Shraddha, Shraddhavan jana hai, Shraddhavan jana hai, mago e bhiksha. Only the price which we have to pay is Shraddha for chanting of the holy names. So to be absorbed, and while chanting a lot of thoughts come, but we need to be absorbed. So one of the devotees was sharing that one should be very busy in doing a lot of services. That is very true, and it is very helpful and very practical. However, along with doing many services, sometimes we praise devotees, wow, you are doing so many services. But also we should understand that not only the number matters, but how much are we absorbed in that service, how much we are actually doing it effectively, that also. So to be absorbed in services is surely important and necessary, but To be absorbed in any service is also a service. That means any one or two service we do, but we should be absorbed in that. We should be knowing that we are doing it for Krishna, that Sambandha Gyan should be there and not mechanically done, devotionally done. That also if can be emphasized, then slowly we will have a taste for the devotional services, chanting, hearing Bhagavatam, etc. So that was the first aspect, that how we should understand that the Lord, the name, form and activities are non-different. What are the obstacles in that, the offenses, and how to overcome that by rendering service, by reading, by serving those who have such taste, and to be absorbed, to make sure that our faith slowly increases and not just get carried away with the externals. Now coming to the second part of our discussion is to the importance of approaching a proper bona fide authority to reveal this, that how the Lord and the names and his activities and form are non-different. We need a special bona fide person and to approach him submissively. So one example which I was remembering was Devahuti's service, Mother Devahuti's service to Kardama Muni. That although she was a very princely girl of his father Swayambhuva Manu, but she decided to marry him, seeing his spiritual stature, Kardama Muni's, and she became very thin and lean, serving the husband very faithfully, not demanding any comforts in the village, in the forest, and being very pleased with her. Kardama Muni finally fulfills her demands or her request, what she wanted to see, and the material world he shows in the aeroplane. The aeroplane itself is itself a city, but later she again laments that, oh, what a mistake I did. I married you seeing your spiritual stature, but I did not take the advantage of it. So here one purport Srila Prabhupada mentions that actually Devahuti did very genuine service to Kardama Muni, and just the wife who serves a husband, a qualified husband, 50% of the husband's credit comes to the wife also. Or a disciple who is genuinely serving a bona fide authority, he also derives the benefit. Just he has to serve, that's all. He doesn't have to think whether I will go back home, back to Godhead or not, whether I will get taste in chanting or not. That is not our area of concern. Our area of concern is whether we are doing our prescribed duty properly or not. All the instructions have we followed or not, because Guru and Krishna are more qualified for judging us whether when we should go back home, back to Godhead. It is not our criteria, and our criteria and our area of concern is only how much we can serve. So yeah, we should not worry about going back to Godhead, but whether we have followed the instructions or not. And hearing is a very, very great service actually. I wanted to share about hearing also, that service is surely, there are many aspects. We can serve in under some projects, we can serve physically, Vapu Seva, however the Vani Seva, especially hearing very attentively from the great souls, is the most important service. Yes, we many times hear that the chanting is the most important service to our spiritual masters. Yes, but Prabhupada says that chanting quality will only come if our hearing quality, Shravanam quality, is very, very strong. It's very perfect. It is very pure and bona fide, because the quality of our consciousness will determine the quality of our chanting. So where we are Shravam, because nowadays so many platforms of hearing are also available, but we have to select. Prabhupada should be the major focus, who is the founder Acharya, and our Diksha Guru, and surely from those who are we are inspired. So we need to hear, because hearing saves a lot of time. The great souls, the bona fide authority, shares their experience, and when we have faith in that, we may hear, but if we don't have faith in that, then that's also a problem. I will just share one example, that one of the sannyasis was speaking on Avadhut Brahmana, who lost all the wealth, and finally he got realization that nothing belongs to us, everything belongs to the Lord, and he became a madhukari, a fakir who was just going door to door and begging. So in that section, one doubt came to one devotee and he asked that, Maharaj, this Avadut Brahmana lost all his wealth, and that was the cause for his realization that this world is temporary, this wealth is temporary. But for practicing devotees like us, I don't think that we all will suffer such a big loss like Avadut Brahmana, and that jolt, that shock will give us realization and finally will be detached. We may probably continue living such a opulent or good salary life till the end, then will we also get such a realization? So that answer given by Maharaj, Sannyasi, was very, very illuminating for me and thought-provoking for me. He told one thing, that it is not wrong to earn lot of money. However, one should know that this money is not going to save me. Ultimately, it is the revealed scriptures knowledge and application and realization which we get from hearing such pastimes will help us to go back home, back to Godhead. And if one does not learn by hearing, then most probably he will not even learn by experience also. Because that devotee was telling that I have been counseling many people for their financial, devotees, not people, devotees, so that they can retire very fast. I have been counseling them that you do such savings so that at the end of 50 years you can take up more devotional service, and they have successfully done it. They have got that much money which they had planned. However, still they are not taking up bhakti so seriously. Then how can I shake them and wake them up? Like that the question was. To that sannyasi told that we cannot do it artificially. One has to develop faith in this revealed scriptures and knowledge, and that is the only way out, that our faith will shift from the material assets to the transcendental hearing process. This Bhagavatam is not only for hearing but for a practical application. So we have to have faith that yes, by this Avadut Brahmana story we learn, by this Devhuti Kardama Muni story we learn, pastime we learn, that how sincere service to Guru and our prescribed duties is our asset to qualify, go back home, back to Godhead. What should be the objects of our dependency, not on the material opulence. Although it is not wrong to earn more or to have material opulences, but to have dependency only on Guru, Krishna and the seva, the service which we do to them. That is our hope. So we may be doing it also, but subtly we should introspect whether our faith is and dependence is on this or it is on the material assets. Otherwise, what is the problem? We may endeavor more to earn material assets, and our sadhana and our this faith will not grow higher. So finally, I would just like to share one a pastime of Jayananda Prabhu, which probably many of you would have heard also. That when Jayananda Prabhu was asked that how you get so much ecstasy, what is the secret of your ecstasy? Then Jayananda Prabhu was sharing that I never thought about it, because he was so busy in serving that he never thought how to generate ecstasy. And very true, as Srila Prabhupada was so pleased by Jayanand Prabhu that whenever he used to go, I think to San Francisco, when he will be giving lecture, Prabhu will be busy doing some menial services, not even probably present near to Prabhupada, and others will be just sitting near Prabhupada for hearing the lecture, but he will be remembered by Srila Prabhupada that where is Jayananda? Not that we should not hear class, but the point is that he pleased Prabhupada so much that he was in the remembrance of Srila Prabhupada, the genuine service spirit. He helped the Guru. So this service attitude is the key with which if we can approach a bona fide representative, then slowly, gradually the knowledge will be revealed. The imports of the Vedic scriptures will be automatically revealed, as it was revealed to the South Indian Brahmana who was not very learned. He hardly knew Sanskrit, but he genuinely followed the Guru's instruction of reading Bhagavad Gita in spite of not understanding it, and he was amazed by Parth Sarthi's picture, and that was making him cry. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so impressed and pleased with that South Indian Brahmana. So yes, bhakti is very easy process. Bhakti science is also not so difficult, as it is very simply explained by Prabhupada. But what makes bhakti difficult, if it is, then it is the intention and the attitude in which it is done. So if that can be reformed, and as a growing sadhaka especially, there is a scope for improvement. Especially I see myself that many things I do mechanically, and in the association of senior devotees it is highlighted, and then there is a chance for improving. So when we keep ourselves more in the jurisdiction of senior devotees, advanced devotees, submit reports, take guidance, then the more we advance. So in a nutshell, just to revise, what we discussed today is about the absolute nature of the Lord. He is non-different from his form, name, qualities, pastimes, and how there can be an obstacle in understanding this is the offenses which we can make towards the devotees, and by properly understanding how to approach a guru, discipline, obedience and sense control, we can only follow the instructions of guru. And even Ananta Shesha not able to understand Krishna or complete the glorification of Krishna himself, but the only way to understand Krishna, the perfect way, is we cannot understand him fully unless it is revealed by himself, by the service. And we also discussed that we need bala of guru to lift the sword like knowledge, Tipu Sultan's sword, which is very heavy. So this knowledge is also very heavy, so we may not be able to lift it unless we have the mercy of guru, which we can derive by sincerely serving him, being disciplined in our life. And then the second part, and also we noted about how it is important to be absorbed in the services. And we also discussed that we need to read and prepare something before we chant to make our chanting more absorbed, more effective, more faithful, more, not mechanical. And we need to serve those who are having such taste. And finally, not get carried away with externals, but focus also. Yes, external is also very important. Result is very important. Quantity is very important. Prabhupada also asked how many books. So, but in the race of getting the quantity high, we should not neglect the quality. And that can be a tendency in a passionate world, etc. So that was the first topic. In the second, we discussed about how we can only derive this quality by serving and approaching a bona fide authority, and that very process itself is sufficient to elevate us. We don't have to think extra about what will be our future. We discussed example of Devahuti and Kardama Muni, that her sincere service qualified, and finally she got Kapil Dev's association, and she was realized in the transcendental knowledge by her own son. 50% credit we get by just sincerely serving our authorities. And the taste, we should not worry about the taste. We should only worry whether we have done our service properly or not. And we also discussed at the end about the importance of hearing, that how it saves time, especially when done by very advanced soul, heard from very advanced soul, we immediately get their experience. And if we don't develop this faith in the hearing process, our chanting will be weak, our practical application will be remaining weak, and sincerely this process should be given a lot of importance, because a lot of knowledge we can get for practical application just by submissive hearing. And it will be really turning into success if it is faithfully executed. From Avadut Brahmana story, we learned that how it is very important that we don't have to wait for such an experience that Krishna takes away all our wealth, but we need to not depend on such material opulences, but depend on the process of hearing, the process given by Srila Prabhupada. And we finally ended by Jayanand Prabhu's quote that I never thought about ecstasy. He was just absorbed in doing services, and that itself was giving him ecstasy. So thank you very much. It is 8 o'clock now. We can have 15 minutes. We can discuss. We can have feedback or some points shared from the devotees. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity to share something from Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna. Srila
Thank you.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Vanamali Govinda, thank you so much for the wonderful class and so much wonderful reminders and alerts that what we should be aware of in our sadhana. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. I think the lines are unmuted. If devotees have some question, comments, please unmute yourself and you can ask, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Can devotee just confirm if you're able to unmute?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavat
Yes.
Pranam, Prabhu.
Done.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Thanks for the wonderful instructions, Prabhu. Especially even if you don't have taste, just continue to do and hope to get the taste finally. Thank you for that, Prabhu. Really, it's very, very wonderful, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Please pray that I can also follow.
Thanks, Prabhu. You all should bless me, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Thanks for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Especially the DOS, discipline, obedience, and self-control. That really, we want to develop that, Prabhu, so much. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Uttara Mataji.
Any further questions or comments? Okay, Prabhuji, I think that if there are none, we can end the class with Vaishnava Pranams. Thank you so much. Vansha kalpatarupasya kripa sindhubhe vaishapatitanam pav Vaishnavebhyo
Namaha.
Antakoti Vaishnavindaki Jai Vaishnava Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, once again. And we all meet. Tomorrow it will be class from the temple at 8 a.m. I think. So that's Radhakrishna Prabhu's class will be there. So please stay tuned. Hare Krishna. I'll end the session now.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.